lórí Facebook
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú
Maiyegun ti dé.
lórí YouTube
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú
Maiyegun ti dé.
bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú.
Ready? Ready? Yeah, thank you. A week ago, Ibeto the police IG of Nigeria, right, publicly announced that they have carried out the order of the president, that's Tinubu, and the order was that all the policemen who are now serving as bodyguards for VIPs, including politicians, right, are to be called back to their police barracks so that they could be deployed to needed areas where people are currently being starved of police presence. So it was kind of like a good idea. However, I think many of them never actually believed that they would do it that way. Okay, so this morning, at their own at Tinubu's neck meeting or fake meeting, so he re-emphasized on the action or the order that all the policemen protecting the private or public officials should be returned back to the police barracks to actually go and do the police job. So in the first place, why do they need private policemen in their different, homes and offices? If the country is safe, the job of the policeman is to provide security for all of us, not for some of us. Abi? So sounded like a good idea, but there are others who believe that it is also going to be very much selective. So this morning, right, when while Tinubu was holding his own fake meeting, the senators were at their own senator chamber, where they were discussing the own surprise, the shock. Abdul Ningi, a senator, was the first person to speak, and it was like he woke up this morning and all of his own security men, like his policemen, they were all gone. Like he was surprised. And like I said, this has been in the news for the past 1 week, at least. Yeah. So the whole drama, it all started. I mean, we should start with Kolu, or we should start with these guys. The reason why we should start with them is because after they were busy with their own drama and the rest, right? So yeah, Kolu went on to appoint Shettima as the person that should call a neck meeting where they're going to put together an arrangement to build ranches for the others, the Fulani herdsmen, they say. Again, it is a national priority for Tinubu. What Bukwari couldn't do, despite all of that bloodshed, right? Tinubu seems to be headed the same path. You know what I mean? To placate the Fulani herdsmen, right? And maybe that would then bring peace. But the terrorists are killing people, right? They are on bikes with different war weapons. Why is building ranches for Fulani herdsmen, whereby Nigeria will buy the land or claim the land? But anyway, Tinubu has nominated Shettima, and they are to work on that with the Ministry of Livestock, including probably putting together laws that will make it easier to build ranches for these Fulani herdsmen across the country. Man, it's actually so crazy, right? I'll tell you what I meant by that when I come back, okay? So Abdul Ningi, the first man to be surprised that Tinubu has withdrawn all of their policemen.
Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. I am coming under the privilege order 9, and by your grace can I read? Privileges are the rights enjoyed by the Senate collectively and by members of the Senate individually conferred by the Legislative House Powers and Privileges Act 208, Laws of the Federation and other statutes, and by practice, precedent, usage, and custom. B, whenever a matter of privilege arises, it shall be taken up immediately. And in case where adequate provision is not made in the standing orders, the Senate shall by resolution regulate itself. Mr. President, I've been around this National Assembly since 1999. And right from 1999, I was having a police orderly, one police orderly. And I have never requested for any additional security personnel. And I woke up today and I was told my police orderly and other police orderlies are withdrawn. Mr. President, I have no problem with that. My problem is that this thing should go across the board. It should not be, don't worry, it should be done across the board. Let's see what happens from the office of the president to the vice president, to the Senate president, to the Speaker of the House, to the ministers. Mr. President, I'm coming after they have withdrawn my only orderly. I saw 2 convoys of ministers, and they were carrying lots of security personnel. I have also seen business concern, Chinese and other business concern. Yesterday, with the compliments of orderlies. Mr. President, I have also seen daughters and sons of political office holders having orderlies and having security covers. Mr. President, I have seen singers having orderlies and complementary of protection. I cannot ever imagine that a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has been here for a very long time, only one orderly, and he is withdrawn, and nothing will happen. Like I said earlier, Mr. President, I have no problem, but let it be done across the board. Let it be done across the board. I can take care of myself, but let me not see governors, ministers, and business concerns being covered by security establishment, but complementary of security thing. This is unheard of in any democracy. And that's why I said, this is a matter that disturbs me, it concerns me, it is not right, and it should be taken with all seriousness it deserves. And I crave the indulgence of the President of the Senate to ask the Chairman, Committee on Police, to please investigate why are other people having security covers from the day the presidency and the Inspector General of Police have made this announcement. You cannot just put National Assembly as a scapegoat and others enjoy the privileges of security control. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Sometimes you confer. When you have issues like this, you do come to me, and then we get that sorted out. Sometimes you could sort that out, informally. But this time around, you brought it out to the attention of the entire Senate. Yesterday, I'm sure you saw us, we had leadership meeting. This was discussed, and we took an action, and we expect the outcome of that action to be available to us today in respect of the police orderlies that were withdrawn from the senators. It's of concern to us, and I will raise the issue, and we're dealing with that, in the formal line, So everything will be done. We are on top of the situation. But in respect of those, the fact that the directive of Mr. President being flouted, where you have the class of persons that he just said, the singers, businessmen and what have you, having policemen. The chairman of the Police Affairs Committee should take
nuisance lele.
Nuisance ni àwọn eléyìí. The Senate of Nigeria is the highest lawmaking body for the country. And ordinarily, you would think their deliberations and their conversations would be like powered by sections of their own constitution, right? So I did a bit of a digging. Like, is there any part of the constitution that says that police orderlies should be provided for VIPs, politicians, senators, House of Rep members, governors, and the rest of them? Guess what? There is no constitutional provision at all. Not even for the president of the country. So they created an act under the Police Act. That was where they hide the whole thing. But right now, the military that doesn't even have that at all, right? They've extended it because, of course, the long-time military rule in Nigeria. The police, the establishment of a Nigerian police force is to provide security for everybody. According to the section 9, they say that your section 214 to 216, right, of your chapter 4, part 2, right, establishes the Nigerian police force and places it under the exclusive control of the federal government. Section 2152 to 4 also gives the president and though by delegation, the Inspector General of Police complete authority over the operational command and deployment of police force, police officers. So nowhere in the entire constitution, including fundamental rights chapter, the executive chapter, the judiciary chapter, or the third schedule, is there any clause that creates a right or entitlement for any categories of persons, governors or ministers or senators or judges or traditional rulers or business tycoons or entertainers or etc., to be assigned police orderlies or armed escorts at public expense. So that was where they got the legal rigmarole. They said, as long as those services, right, are not paid for by the public. Do you get that now? The constitution didn't say they must have police orderlies. It also didn't say they can't have police orderlies, but it clearly said, as long as they are not, public is not paying for it. So that means having police orderlies around the senators and the rest of them, if it is coming out of their pockets, I would think the lawmakers themselves should ordinarily be like, we are paying for it. Okay, if they can no longer provide that, maybe we can get some private security and that should solve it, right? So what did Tinubu actually say? So at his own fake meeting today, that's a federal executive meeting, all right, with his ministers and others, Tinubu's statement.
I said, and I called on the IG, and I hope the Minister for Police Affairs is here. So if you have any problem of security because of the nature of your assignment, please contact the IGP and get my clearance. The Minister for Interior should liaise with IGP and the civil defense structure to replace those police officers who are on special security duties, so that you don't leave people exposed. NSA and DSS to provide further information and form themselves into a committee and review the structure. It should be effected. We face challenges here and there of kidnapping and terrorism. We need all the forces that we can utilize. I know some of our people are exposed. I understand that we have to make exceptional provision for them, and the civil defense are equally armed. And I want to know that from NSA to arm our forest guards too. Take it very seriously. Okay. Again, especially livestock reform, I think the Vice President should get the neck, first of all, to see which village or grazing reserves that can be salvaged or rehabilitated into ranches, livestock settlement. We must eliminate the possibility of conflicts and turn the livestock reform into economically viable development. The opportunity is there. Let's utilize it. And it is a neck. If we emphasize the constitutional requirement, we see that the land belongs to in the states. Whichever one they can salvage, come back to livestock village or others village. Let us stop this, conflict area and turn it to economic opportunity and prosperity. Thank you very much.
ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń sọ yìí ọ̀ ń ṣeré ni àbọ̀ ń ṣí èrè ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń sọ yìí ọ̀ ń ṣeré ni àbọ̀ ń ṣí èrè.
Because I don't understand this issue of giving lands to Fulani herdsmen in order for us to have peace. This issue has been on the ground for like nearly 10 years now. And the question people are asking is livestock business not a private business anymore? Who is going to pay for the land? Why is it so difficult for Fulani herdsmen to buy lands and build ranches themselves? Why must states that have nothing, no border to share with this anything Fulani, why must they part with their lands to resettle them on their land? Like, why should that be? It's the same question. Bokwari came. He said in 1947, there were grazing routes. Baba, you demand, this is 2017. That was 2017. You did talk about grazing route of 1947. On whose land? They say, you know, the herdsmen, they used to come from Niger. They will come from Niger and all the way from Sokoto to this Benue, to Kogi, from Kogi to Enugu. They have this path. And people always leave the land for them. Say, Egbawa now. So how could people leave Sokoto or leave Niger, come own lands, grazing routes on other people's lands? How does that make any sense? It's the same argument. Oh. Now, a Yoruba man is the president of Nigeria, Tinubu. And you know how Yorubas feel about the issue of land and land. There were some of as worse as the Yoruba state governors, as worse as they have been, none of them has been bold to come out and openly say he's got a land to give to any Fulani anywhere. So why is Tinubu promoting the same thing? Why can't they find lands to build ranches for the Fulani-dominated states in northern Nigeria? Why must people, other people, have to die just for these unknown Fulani herdsmen? I mean, why there's more to the mix right now. We are talking about those armed terrorists on bikes, ransacking villages, kidnapping people, attacking churches, that's a mix. So what is going to be the end to that? Like once we build ranches, okay, for the ones who have cows, like Baba, you want to open a garage, like you want to open a garage where you are going to possibly be, repairing cars. If you want to do that, you're not going to go and buy guns, mobilize few people with you, and start killing and kidnapping people. And once the government says, what do you want? You say, well, I need land to build shops. I need money. I need you to build me garages. I need garages here for all my people. Like, who does that? Livestock business is a private business. If we have states in Nigeria that are running farms, they are running livestock, sort of like, arts and all that in their states. In Nigeria, why can't the Fulanis that needs land buy lands? Why must government use fiat law to take people's land and then use people's money to build ranches for them? Like, who is that going to serve? Anyway, that's their own solution, and they've been pushing that for a while. And I bet it's right. Tinubu is going to meet the same resistance, because if there are those who should be in the forefront, if this whole thing is about cows, if genuinely this whole killings, kidnappings is about cows, the northern Nigeria have the largest expanse of land where they can build irrigation system, revive them, build infrastructures around them, and resettle these people. But it is never about ranches. How could the National Security Advisor to Tinubu, all the security advisors to him, from Rebatombo to himself, and everybody around him, how could they all conclude to all these killings and kidnappings is to take more money from no money that Nigeria is kind of like a wallowing, right? Take more money and forcefully take people's lands to resettle the Fulani, herdsmen. Fulani herdsmen. Politicians are using the politically sponsored terrorism against Nigerians. They are creating solutions that you ask yourself, who are the owners of their cows? If this is still about cows, now it is about coming in the middle of the night, ransacking villages, killing people, displacing them. That is the real issue. But no, let us build ranches, but with whose lands? Why can't Sokoto, Katsina, Kaduna? No, not Kaduna. Katsina, Niger, where else again? Zamfara. Trying to pick some of them. Borno. Why can't they lead in the project of resettling the Fulani herdsmen, so that we can know that, CEO, if you see any Fulani, whether with cow or cow also, or with bikes, so in your region, they are terrorists, they are criminals. Because right now, they have built 12 standard massive ranches across 12 states in northern Nigeria. And guess what? The population of these herdsmen with their cows all over the place, we have relocated them back. Why can't they lead in that sort of project? Why should Nigeria pay for it? Like you want to buy your peace, let's buy our peace. You know, let us do that so that we can be alive. And for those who know these bloodsuckers that have never really faced any justice, Fulani terrorists are considered the fourth deadliest terrorist in the whole world. The first sort of like a number one terrorist in Nigeria is said to be APC, and that is coming from the Canadian sort of a Canadian judge, APC, you know, Nigerian police and the rest of them. They are in that kind of like order. Yeah. Anyway, inside their own supposed arrange where they are telling themselves that, you know what, we would be on one hand, mind you, they've actually set up the Ministry of Livestock. So, you know, they've said that, Tinubu announced that about last year. And this livestock minister, there's a livestock minister. His job is to help find ways of compensating the Fulani terrorists. However they're going to do it, they will give them the money. So they have a livestock ministry or Fulani terrorist ministry that is being funded with taxpayers' money as we speak. And what they stand for in their own mind is that they want to do farmers' others settlements. What about those people that have been targeted and then slaughtered from Plateau State to Benue, to Taraba, to Zamfara, to Yobe, to Borono, yes, Chibok, and others like that. These are not people who had fights with herdsmen like cows. You know, they didn't have any. They were not. Most of them are not farmers. They didn't have any clash or clashes with any form of herdsmen. But thousands of them have been slaughtered that got the attention of Donald Trump, in which it is believed it is religiously motivated Christian genocide in Nigeria. So Tinubu is trying to impress the Americans that they are willing to actually really go after these terrorists. Are you with me? But on the other hand, they are also willing to commit more billions of your money in trying to buy peace with these terrorists. So those of you who have been asking, when is Donald Trump going to then come? Here is another one. Take a look at this man. His name is, the Venerable Edwin Archie. He is not a farmer. He is not a herdsman. His wife, she is not a farmer. She is not an herdsman. The Fulani terrorists grabbed them. They killed the husband after about 40 days in captivity. Here you get. Here is the picture of the wife and the daughter still in captivity for over 2 months now. They have gone viral many times on social media and what have you, right? The terrorists will take pictures like this, sometimes videos, humiliating them, and post these clips on social media. These are not people who had any clash with herdsmen. They didn't have cows or they didn't have any farm or anything. They were just traveling when the terrorists struck and kidnapped them. You know what I mean? So there are many, many, many like that. So when Donald Trump redesignated Nigeria as a country of, particular concern, where religious persecution and what have you, has led to the death of tens of thousands of people, and they just can't continue to look away. Referendum flew to Washington to meet with Pete Hegseth, right? In order to offer them the time, I say, please give us time. We are putting the blood together to make sure that these killings and all of this insecurity and all that, they are completely under control. That's the effort they are pretending to be making. However, in that same breath, the man that Donald Trump said should please look into this and their own investigation and get back to him, right, is this Congressman Riley or Congressman Riley. You've heard him when they had their congressional hearing in America just about a few weeks ago as well on this same matter. Now, Riley has been in Nigeria. There have been so many other American delegates, delegations who have visited Nigeria in the last 4 weeks. So, you know, one of them that led his own delegation on a fact-finding mission is this Riley guy. He's in Nigeria. And guess what? He met with Rebaton, he met with the people in Benue. And he personally heard the stories of these victims. He said in Benue State alone, he verified that there is more than 500,000 internally displaced people, the refugees, you know, it's popularly known or such a fancy name of internally displaced persons. These people were displaced or survived different attacks in the hands of the Fulani terrorists. Riley heard the story of a woman whose 5 children and her husband were slaughtered right before her very eyes in her presence. And she barely escaped with her unborn child, meaning she was pregnant, and she barely escaped, but she saw her 5 children killed. Another woman, right, was also killed, even as pregnant. She was pregnant. 3 of our own children were slaughtered as well by these terrorists. All these stories have now been collected. And yes, would Nigeria really go after them or not? Are you with me? So it is just going to be about, you know, it's a matter of time, would you say? But also today, 10th of December 2025, right, in the same US, there was another, you know, what do you call that again? Yeah, it's like an international press conference, you know, where this same matter of the killings going on in Nigeria is still being debated. So don't let them tell you that maybe they said Trump was coming. Where is Trump now? Watch this. Well, the congressman that is kind of like organizing this, his name is Chris Smith. Now watch this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Icon. One and foremost thing that somebody have said here is truth. Nigeria is supposed to embrace the truth. And starting from that truth and listening to what is happening from 1967 to 1970, we fought a war, civil war, and people don't like to address it. They don't want to hear anything about Biafra, but Biafra existed before Nigeria. So what had happened is that Nnamdi Kanu, the whistleblower about this particular genocide, Christian genocide that is happening now, that all of us have agreed on, they went after him because he was alerting people that this is going to happen, and they have just happened. What is it today? He's somewhere in Sokoto doing live them for nothing, just telling people that, hey, be careful, government should restructure the system that didn't work. In 67, that the same system is still what we're suffering today. The resources we're talking about one Nigeria, is based on our side, which is the southeast. But when we hear about resources, it's one Nigeria. Who is benefiting from one Nigeria? Sir, I should ask you that, because you're just coming from Nigeria. Who is benefiting? Thank you.
So, we're looking at you're seeing part of the problem here, but I'd like to ask Judge Saul, who's working with with people on the ground, to say, what precisely do you need from the United States government and from the Nigerian government to solve some of these problems? Because it's going to take a while.
Sure. I'll try to make this very brief and short and sweet. What we need from the American government is partnership with local village security teams and local authorities. You cannot do business and trust the Nigerian government apparatus because it has been fully infiltrated by the Fulani ethnic militia. The other thing that the U.S. government needs to do is the State Department, the embassy, and the various agencies need to get on the same page. We've been running into many roadblocks with information that we've been trying to give to the U.S. government. There are people inside the embassy, in the bureaucracy, I call it the deep state, sorry not to get conspiratorial here, that are fighting us and fighting our mission within our own government. And there are people within the Trump administration that are withholding key information about what's really going on in Nigeria, preventing our success. So everybody does need to get on the same, sing the same chorus and get on the same harmony. And I have one critical thing I want to say, and it's a warning, and I want this on record for everybody listening and watching. We have information, we've gathered information just very recently, that the Fulani ethnic militia are weaponizing and gathering forces along the Plateau-Nasarawa border, along the Nasarawa-Benue border, and along the Nasarawa-Kaduna border, and they're planning to hit on Christmas, Riam, Bokos, Kafachan in Kaduna, and Agatu in Benue. We've gotten very reliable information that they're gearing up, they're arming, they're weaponizing, they're planning on another Christmas massacre. And I'm imploring the Nigerian government and President Donald Trump, do something now so we don't have a bunch of dead Christians on Christmas in Nigeria.
Thank you. Dr. Charles Jacob, you have something? Because we have an International Freedom Coalition and African Jewish Alliance. Please.
Can keep it there. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
My name is Charles Jacobs from the African Jewish Alliance. I worked with Congressman Wolf and Chris Smith 25 years ago because there was a jihad in Sudan, and we brought back the slaves that were captured, and that got to President Bush, and he created South Sudan, which is the newest state. I just have, it's incredible that we have broken through the news barrier, that now people can talk about Nigeria because Islamophobia, you can't talk about it, but we in this room have made a tremendous effort. I want to thank Stephen and Nada also for getting this. We broke it through. So now Bill Maher's talking about this, Van Jones talking about this, the Charlie Kirk Christian Empire is aflame about this, help save. I'm a rhetorician. One thing that might help us rhetorically, we don't need to talk about Islam, talk about jihadism. That's all. Talk about jihadism, because Nigeria is not the only place. The jihad has spread now to 20 African countries, and Nigeria was the first to break through, but we can actually organize the others as well. And by the way, there are 23 peoples in this world who are attacked by jihadism, from Christian Copts, from Kurds, from Yazidis, from Druze, from Indians, etc. We are working to put those people in one group. So just rhetorically, let's use the word jihadism, and let's see ourselves as part of. Nigeria is just one tentacle of the global jihad. Thank you. Thank you.
If anybody says that it is not genocide going on in Nigeria, that person is either compromised or is benefiting from the genocide, or is part of those who are encouraging the genocide. Secondly, state police, I want to align with out. State police is very, very important and very crucial right now. Nigeria can implement it so that all these jihadists who have been incorporated into the national forces, the police, the army, and all that, when you emphasize or establish state police, they will be able to eliminate the bad eggs from among them, and the governors will have the power to influence and control the insecurity. Thank you.
Yeah. Please, we recognize Major General Henry Ayola retired, and even Apostle Ladi Thompson, but we would like maybe response finally from Congressman Smith. If any, then we just try to.
Thank you. Great recommendations. Obviously, we really aggressively have to sustain this effort. My sense from the Nigerians is they think this might be a flash in the pan and we'll move on to other things. That's not going to happen. I can tell you There are so many members of Congress now who are even more mobilized than ever. The State Department, especially with the Secretary of State, and of course Donald Trump himself. And so we're looking for results. The idea that there's going to be a Christmas strike by the Fulani and actionable information that you have, we need to make sure that that's very...
It's prevented. Did you see how they just drop an information that ordinarily right now, you would expect the government of Nigeria to get a hold on that? People have said, many people have said that they have raised alarms several times before most of these attacks took place. Like they will raise alarm sometimes 24 hours, 48 hours, sometimes a week, because most of the movement of these terrorists, right, the locals see them. And there are those who use the opportunity to pass the information, say, oh, they are gathering in this also area. We have started seeing this movement, massive movement of these guys in this. So once they start gathering like that, they are plotting to attack a place. Could you please notify the security, the authority, and the rest of them, right? And almost 100% of the time, these warnings were completely ignored by the supposed authority. And there are evidences of that. So this is not something that people are making up. It has gotten so bad these days that even if you are not a security expert, if you are a regular social media user that probably have some, follow some kind of like handles, right? You will see that these days, right, people actually publishes security. So what should have been security information about the movement of these terrorists in most part of the northern Nigeria. Just before you get to see that they've attacked so place, or they've killed so and so people there, or kidnapped a so number of people, you know what I mean? These days, you get to read, I mean, there are some handles that actually would tell you what's going on. The movement of the terrorists and the border of Lake Chad, come down to Borno, straight back to maybe start going back to Katsina, Sokoto, all these areas. There are those who tracks them and they publishes all this, but still, it's more or less like there is nobody looking for them. You get me now? So, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the man that blew the whistle on all of this, the man they have done so well to make you love and hating him. However, the credit for all of this, if Nigeria was a real place, unfortunately, it also helped to expose most of the most of the lies we have been fed about this one Nigeria. So Nnamdi Kanu blew the whistle on this and said, these Fulani terrorists, they will be deadlier than the Boko Haram. But guess what? While they are killing you, their leaders will be gaslighting you. They will be protecting them. That's exactly the way he said it. He said they will be protecting them. Nobody will believe that. 3 years ago, you will not believe that. You just be like, what is he talking about? And they weaponized that to make you see him as a warmonger. He went as far as putting himself, his life on the line, and he told the gathering of the Southeasterners 13 years ago that they needed to get ready. What was coming would be worse than what you have seen in this part of Borno and all that with Boko Haram. That these guys will be so organized, and while they are killing you, nobody will come to your rescue. They said, you wanted to start another civil war. Hey, what is all of this? Can't we use dialogue? Can't we use negotiation? I remember that video very well, like vividly. There was a lady, there was this elderly lady that was like visibly shaking. She felt so touched about that presentation of Nnamdi Kanu. It was like Nnamdi Kanu he printed the picture of what we are seeing today, where people are now being killed in these border villages, border towns in Enugu, all straight down to, Ebonyi, Imo, and then Anambra, Abia. They've all had the taste of the venom of the Fulani terrorism, with people who are like the living witnesses themselves. But when he was saying it, it was incomprehensible. It was unbelievable, unimaginable. How could you even think of that? In Nigeria of today, it will never happen. Now, here we are. Here we are. There are people are now talking about state police. We need it. This is the time we need it. We need people who are from the same area to provide security for the same area. There's no point in having Nigeria police where Chukwuemeka from Olu will be posted to Zamfara. And then you will see Suleiman from Moguno in Borno being posted to Abeokuta. Adekunle, who is from Oyo, is now being posted to Osu, Abi, what do you call it? Okija. They scatter them all of these places, right? With the same directive. If anybody gathers that we are not approved of, shoot and kill them. They don't have the understandings of these areas. But again, everybody is now coming back to, we need to harm our own local police. We need to have our own security. We need to defend ourselves. But what they are not telling you is that who are we defending ourselves against? Against the jihadists. The jihadists who believes that our way of life should never exist, while those who raise the alarm, blew the whistle, have either been killed or currently locked away. The terrorists themselves are having field day. They're having meetings with government officials called peace meeting. They are so strong that their issue became so much like a priority to the government of Nigeria since 2015. The point that it is the government of Nigeria that is providing solution. Rather than go after these criminals, they are providing solution of giving them lands, building them ranches, rehabilitating them, giving them money. All of this to placate murderers. Not to separate these murderers from the real ones, by the way. No, it is to milk the system like they normally do. Keep the people so divided. But at the same time, try to pretend that you want to keep them together by offering them the only solution, which is just like offering them the rope to hang themselves. I don't know who are those, like I said before, I don't know those who are around the Tinubu. Okay? I mean, before now we thought that, oh yeah, Bokwari was just like a malu. So he's thinking like a malu, he's thinking like a cow. Maybe somebody who claims to be a Lagos or city boy will think in a different way. But here we are. Yorubas will be dragged into this because we have now become part and parcel of this. Our people in Kwara, our people in Kogi, they've suffered so greatly. And it is already moving down slowly. So who do you think you're going to blame when Tinubu is no longer your president? And then the entire Yoruba land gets, surrounded by these terrorists. Like you've never believed in your life that a day will come that you would have terrorists kidnap you on the way to Ibadan at Ogiri. You get people kidnap you on the way to Ogbomoso and they made you trek in the forest. And all these things that you never believed will ever happen. Here we are. But again, since most of us are particularly indifferent, right? When things like this are being discussed, because if it never happened to you, probably it's just been exaggerated. Maybe it's not even that bad. If it doesn't happen to me, I don't think it is happening. But I do pray it never happened to you. By the way, let's go back to that room where they were discussing these killings. Please watch this.
Okay, thank you, sir, from Dr. Sigun Suwumi. And
first of all, let me say that on behalf of the people of Nigeria, we thank and truly appreciate the efforts that you put in that country's issues. The second thing that needs to be said very clearly is that the designation as a CPC has done much more than you can imagine its weight in words. The first is that it has given hope to a cross-section of Nigerians that someone is finally listening to what's going on and Nigeria now matters. Like a bicycle attitude, those with the responsibility of running our country have had over the years, at least now we can see that they are now beginning to shape up, albeit slowly. Now let me try and say very, very firmly without missing words. I'm a Nigerian, I live in Nigeria, I flee from Nigeria. And I have a duty to explain how things should be and how things are. Sometimes when you want to do a good, if you don't get all of the issues from the perspective of those on the inside, they might mistakenly even terrorism. No nation has been able to do it without improvisation or rhetorics. The only path is to be firm, responsible, comprehensive, respect international law. The second thing that needs to be said is that defeating extremism requires rebuilding what the terror people seek to destroy. Community devastated by violence needs more than sympathy. They need roads, they need schools, they need hospitals, they need economic stabilization to return back to the future that was taken from them. Help Nigeria expand its policing infrastructure. Because at the end of the day, rather than classify it as an ethnic group, which most people feel convenient to, which is Fulani, you must understand that's more than 15 million people that live there. And we don't think that 15 million of them are all into this. And if we're not very careful, we'll be sowing seeds that will never be resolved, almost like the one you have in the Middle East. So it's better to just say, we're dealing with some criminal elite people. What we must do now is we must figure out, bless you.
The time, and so I'm going to exert the prerogative of the chair here, and turn the question a little bit to the issue, the big elephant that's sitting in the back of the room that nobody's actually talking about, which is what exactly do we do to get the Nigerian government and to get governments around Africa to join. And there's an old joke that how many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? And the answer is none, because the light bulb has to want to change. Right? And so the question here is, how do we kind of work together with other countries in Africa, to get Nigeria to want to change? And there's a lot of different tools for that. And so we have a number of people who are on the list that I'm going to turn to and ask that question to. Okay, because I think better than making statements is the question of, okay, now what next? Okay, and so the first person I'm going to put on the spot is Ambassador, Madam Ambassador, who was the person, she was the ambassador to South Africa, and she understands the diplomatic kind of kabuki dance that diplomats have to do to get people to go along with controversial ideas. So is there a microphone that we can, so that you don't have to get up, is there a microphone we can? Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. I are you sending that to Abuja? No. Can you direct? Don't send that to Abuja. No. All right. Don't to Abuja for the record. Yeah. Well, it's on Zoom anyway. It has to do immediately, which is the question you asked. Post every soldier to his state of origin. Post every Nigerian soldier to his state of origin. They will not allow their people to be killed and slaughtered. Because national loyalties in Nigeria are primordial. The loyalties are first to the ethnicity and the indigeneity before the Western created contraption called Nigeria. That is true. People owe more loyalties to their Afanifere, to their Ohanese, to their Arewas before the country Nigeria. And it is constitutional. There is a section in the Nigerian constitution that every single Muslim government who have ruled Nigeria more than other administrations have not allowed to be touched. Everybody has a copy of the Nigerian constitution. It is online, section 219. Section 219 of the Nigerian Constitution says, establish the federal character of the Nigerian armed forces. Every single military facility and location in Nigeria must be populated by no less than 75% of the indigenes of the locality of the military facility. Why has government refused to implement it? So what America needs to do is to tell Nigeria, every soldier must be posted to his state of origin. And I tell you something. Yes, I am Igbo. And they invaded the house of Nnamdi Kanu in an operation called Operation Python Dance in September, when was that? Wherever. The soldiers that came to invade the village where boys and young men were marching and wielding rifles, locally made rifles, chanting Biafra hymns, that was no threat to sovereignty. But those soldiers came over weaponized with armored tanks. I thought they were going to invade maybe Benin Republic with military aircraft or something. It was just a house. And they so spoke Hausa to them and Fulani to them and say, you noted. So what I posit is that if the soldiers that had come to undertake the Python dance attack were locals who spoke the local lingo to the youths and said, hey, you boys, you don't know that government is angry with this thing you're doing, and flogged them, the consequences would have been different. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, in a Zoom call that we had a couple of weeks ago, you know, one of the other diplomatic issues is the idea of the United States imposing its will and kind of robbing Nigeria of its precious metals. You know, and so that's one of the issues that we're going to have to get the other Africans on board too. You know, unlike Congress, those of us who've served in the executive branch have to actually make the choir sing, and we have to make them sing together. And so that's really one of the challenges that we have. And so let me just now turn to Dr. Sylvester Onya, you know, from, and I'm going to give him the microphone and say, what's a...
Dr. Onya, it's kind of like should be easy if there is no hidden agenda whatsoever. All this wahala, if you remove the personal greed of the political players in Nigeria, which comes from all over Nigeria, which they don't have tribe, they don't have religion, they don't have even political differences or whatever. So they are all united up there, if you take a look at things. But at the same time, behind all of that are also those who have weaponized their own agenda, either hidden behind religion or hidden behind a tribe. They've also managed to weaponize that within the system enough that all these contrary agendas against the supposed one country continue to run after like the other in such a way that we have this chaos that you have today. If the Arewans says they want Sharia, they know how to do it. They can utilize the population they have in that space that is theirs, and implement a Sharia or Sharia law there. If the people in the Middle Belt believes that they want to go with a socialist sort of like a law, so be it. If the Westerner says, oh, we want to go with welfareist law, I'm just giving these random names, right? Meaning people should be able to do whatever they want to do if that is how they want to exist without one imposing or superimposing on the other. Before now, we never had this issue. People coexisted. I don't know, maybe we were just too young to understand. I don't know. But never in the history of Nigeria have we actually witnessed people waging war on innocent people because of their religion or their tribe. We have never seen it this much. And I have never read it anywhere. The government of the country, right, is protecting some dangerous armed terrorists. Like they are endangered species that needed to be protected. The Fulani terrorists. I have never read that in any history. Even Bokuwari got the medal for ending the Metatarsin in 1984, 85 or so. Yeah, the Metatarsin were just like these religious fanatics too, like Dijalaji Shekau, Yusuf and Muhammad Yusuf and the rest of them. That was what the Metatarsin was all about, but they didn't have machine guns. They didn't have the RPG and all that. Sure you get, but they were a menace, like they were so everywhere. So Bokuwari crushed them. They gave him a medal for that. So what the hell happened? The Nigerian government is now in the position negotiating with terrorists that are hitting the headline every day, kidnapping people, ransacking villages. This is not cows and farmers anymore. So I have never seen anything like this, where government to be on the side of these killers and be explaining to us Islamophobia, Fulani-phobia. But if I get phobia for Fulani terrorists, is that my fault? Do I need to actually witness them slaughter people than the witnesses that we have seen already, like the wreckages or the wrecks they've caused already? Before I begin to fear them. So it is the job of government to separate the criminals, their sponsors, from the other people that shared tribe or religion with them. But we have a situation whereby some people are bragging, Sharia will rule Nigeria. Nigeria will be all this talk. Do you guys actually really sit back and feel like, listen, I don't know where you come from in Nigeria. When you say these things like, Sharia will rule everywhere in Nigeria, whether you like it or not. Igbos will never be president of Nigeria. Igbos will never lead Nigeria. And all this talk, right? I'm like, where do you come from inside that contraption? Exactly, right? That you believe that you can be shouting one Nigeria on the one hand, and then on the other hand, you are telling us that it is either our land or our life. If we don't give our lands, they will take our lives, this Fulani terrorist. Or, the Igbos will never, ever be president of Nigeria. If the Igbos want to be, I'm like, hey, you can't be saying all of this in the same breath. It is either you have one Nigeria where you can actually say, whether you like it or not, everybody will have the similar chance. Must have it. If you don't have that mindset, the idea of one Nigeria is already defeated. There is no one Nigeria. Yeah? If you say that without me parting with my land, my life will remain at risk. You know what I mean? Like they could take it any time. And at the same time, you are telling me that and this is happening to me because I am one Nigeria. That's why the Fulani will come from Futagalon and take Futa sorrow and Futa sadness. And if you understand the wrecks these guys are actually causing, right? It's not just Nigeria. They are wrecking it like they are pushing this jihadism. The jihadists, they are pushing this terrorism up to the northern part of Benin Republic. They just witnessed a coup. Things are already so deep, while others in the mainland are trying to convince us that, there is a way for peace. If you want peace, just let them have a portion of your land here to this place. Okay, let's call it livestock city. That's what Tinubu called it to. Livestock village. So they will just be there. They won't bother you. They will just stay here. When did the Fulani started staying in one place? Like, how could the government make that their own policy to say, let us put them here. Once you put them here, they won't bother you again. And when did they start actually staying in a place, as the few illegal places they occupied in the forest have become the den of kidnapping, where they take their victims to lock them up, maltreat them, and even kill them. So what is the government trying to legitimize? They are trying to legitimize their terrorism industry. I'm telling us that that's going to give us peace. You know, that's going to be peaceful. That's how we're going to have peace. Like how? How is that actually like sensible thing? By any means, right? Anyway, like I said, if we all come together and say this is what we want for this place, if this is what we want for that place, before you can say you have one Nigeria, okay? But in a situation where we have terrorists who are killing Nigerians, Muslims, Christians, and you know those who are not of any of these religions, right? So they are Nigerians being slaughtered, and people want to make it look like a call to end them is like an invitation and an indirect attack on Islam. Here is another political Sharia. The political Sharians, those ones who are always threatening you, telling you that if you disagree with this, their political Sharia, you know, you are considered as an infidel. You know, it's because you are ignorant. You don't understand anything. It's political Sharia. The political Sharia is the one that will be telling you that what you are witnessing in northern Nigeria is actually so perfect. Northern Nigeria used to actually be a very beautiful, peaceful place. And I'm not kidding, like very peaceful. And at the same time, in their own way, they were prosperous too. Depends on what you called probably, you know, prosperity. They're contented from the time immemorial. Then these Olori Burukus introduced Sharia. And just like that, the numbers of out-of-school children started increasing, never reduced, never decreased anymore, increasing and increasing. And all these fanatic preachers, hiding under this their political Sharia, they started building different ideologies that for the past 2 decades now, or for the past decade rather, you have seen now, well, in fact, actually 2 decades, yeah, from 2003. For 2 decades, for over 2 decades now, right? The Sharia in the northern Nigeria has led to more poverty, more crime, and more violence. So if you are from the southern part of Nigeria and you're like, no, we don't want that, your Sharia, then you start seeing those who will tell you that, oh, Islam is a peaceful religion, Sharia is a peaceful this, and that. I say, no, but I don't want Sharia. If you disagree, then we kill you. All those ones who are threatening you on social media, telling you that whether you like it or not, whether all those ones, those are the politically sponsored political Sharians. Their job is to ensure that they milk every form of a division that is pretty much like defeats every logic, is to milk it, weaponize it, like these ones now, who are saying that, I mean, how do you say Sharia doesn't affect non-Muslims? But every now and then, you have those who are non-Muslims, Christians, have either been killed for blasphemy or have been jailed or sentenced to death for blasphemy. These are people whose your Sharia should not affect. They don't have any goddamn thing to do with your Sharia. They are Nigerians inside Nigeria. So therefore, you told them that Sharia doesn't affect them. But here you have all these fanatics going about and threatening people to burn and, you know, burn people to death. So you get, and when they finally killed that lady, that young woman, Deborah, more than 45 Islamic lawyers appeared for these murderers, the ones arrested. Yeah, Islamic lawyers from northern Nigeria, they came to defend these murderers. So why can't they just, like, if people say we don't want this Sharia, your Sharia is just for the poor. You have criminals as your leaders, bunch of criminals, that if there is a true Sharia, most of them will probably be dead now. But their Sharia is for the poor people. It is political Sharia. Therefore, keep it in the northern Nigeria. But no, they want it to probably keep on spreading to plateau states. Sharia must go to Benue. Taraba must get Sharia. Yobe must get Sharia. And then Southwest Nigeria must get Sharia. Lagos must have Sharia. Sharia must enter this. Sharia must enter that. And we are like, why are you so desperate about putting your Sharia here? Oh, Sharia is for Muslim. It doesn't affect non-Muslims. Tell that to Deborah. She Deborah jẹ́ Kubura. Is Deborah and Kubura the same thing? But yet, the young lady was killed. Eunice was beheaded. Akaluka was beheaded in Kano. There's another lady that was also killed simply because she was preaching as a Christian. So you get all this, right? Keep your Sharia where it is, where, the sun never rises. But no, they are back and threatening us.
Nation. With the benefit of hindsight, this does not come as a surprise. Past American governments had once announced that Nigeria would break by 2015. When that did not happen, after 10 years, they are now taking deliberate steps to make it happen. It seems like the plot they are working on is to instigate a religious crisis in the country by provoking the Muslim population. Recently, the US President, Donald Trump, made an accusation that there was a Christian genocide going on in Nigeria, even confirming that churches were being burned and Christians killed virtually every day. He then started rolling out conditions to be met by the Nigerian government and sanctions to be considered on government, individuals, and groups. He went on to list Nigeria yet again as a country of special concern. Among the conditions he rolled out was that the Sharia system was to be abolished in the northern states and blasphemy laws be scrapped. Then, last week, a group of Nigerians living in the US, led by one Dr. Ebenezer Obadere, senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, visited the US Congress masquerading as so-called experts on Nigerian affairs to request the Congress to make the US government demand that the Nigerian government put pressure on the northern states to abolish the Sharia system and the Hizbah. At this juncture, we would like to make the following observations. One, even the British colonialists who conquered our land by force of arms could not altogether get rid of the Sharia system. Therefore, no foreign power can do it now, after more than 60 years of independence. Two, the Sharia system is an integral part of our constitution, which, in recognition of everybody's right to religious freedom, provided for three legal systems, namely the British common law, the Sharia personal law, and the customary law. Three, moreover, the Constitution allowed for concurrent powers that gives states the power to make laws affecting any of the concurrent list, of which enacting Sharia law is a part of. 4. Unless the Constitution of our country and its democratic federalism is going to be trampled on, the plot to force the federal government to pressure state governments to abolish the Sharia system and Hizbah is not wise. 5. The Sharia system has never been imposed on any non-Muslims in Nigeria. 6. The blasphemy law is not a religious law, but a law enacted by respective state assemblies in order to preserve peace and harmony. 7. The Sharia system has no connection whatsoever with the different types of insecurity issues happening in Nigeria. 8. The Hizbah institution has never engaged in any type of unrest. It is an unarmed organization concerned only with the enforcement of Sharia moral laws within the ambit of the national law. Therefore, on behalf of all the 40 Islamic organizations that form the Zamfara State Muslims League, we hereby state the following. 1. We in Zamfara State are more than 99% Muslims. We were the first to implement the Sharia system in 1999. We want all and sundry to know that we are comfortable with the system and we will never allow it to be tampered with. 2. The request of Dr. Obadere is not based on any expertise, but on biasness and Islamophobia. 3. The US has no business meddling in the international affairs of our country or act as a custodian of a certain religion. or start a new crusade against Islam, with Nigeria as its first victim. 4, we emphatically affirm that Muslims in Nigeria will not stand by and look while a foreign power dismantles the Sharia system just to make some anti-Islamic Christians happy. We know that America has been sponsoring Zionist terrorism in Palestine and the genocide of Muslims. We are also ready to pay the price the Palestinians are paying if America should decide to come to Nigeria to dismantle Sharia. 5, we are calling on President Bola Tinubu to tread carefully. He should remember that he rose to power on the goodwill of Sharia-loving Muslim population of this country. 6, we also call on Muslim representatives in the Senate and the House of Representatives never to allow themselves to be used for the achievement of crooked objectives detrimental to the interests of those they represent. 7, we call on our governors and members of the respective houses of assemblies not to relent or give in on this matter. They must stand firm and ensure our freedoms in a sovereign Nigeria. We are also using this medium to appeal to our northern governors, especially the Sharia compliant states, to intensify efforts in protecting, safeguarding, and promoting the Sharia legal system in their respective states. 8, it is time for our traditional rulers to stand up and talk. The labor of our leaders past shall never be in vain. 9, our ulama and imams must stand up and talk. Imams must convey our message of resistance on all pulpits. Sharia implementation is our religious right, which we are entitled to. We will never accept intervention on how to practice our religion from any quarter. 10, finally, we call on all Muslims in Nigeria to be ready to defend our religion and the Sharia system, whatever it takes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You won't need a car to travel. You won't need an aeroplane to travel. You will just say, I want to go to London. And you'll be in London. Whether you believe it or not.
Sharia is embedded in Nigeria 1999 Constitution. And just so you understand why that 1999 Constitution is the foundation of all the problems facing Nigeria today, is the fact that the people didn't write the Constitution. The military wrote it, and they inserted Sharia into it. And an average Muslim would tell you that they did this simply because to factor in the influence of Islam in northern part of Nigeria. Sharia was mentioned 6 times in your constitution. Section 275(1) said there shall be established for any state that requires it a Sharia court of appeal for that state. This time around, it is not for northern Nigeria. It says for states that requires it. All it's going to take is just for people to have their people in the state house, and Sharia will come because constitutionally they say they could have Sharia court of appeal. Section 275(2) said the Sharia court of appeal of a state shall consist of listed them. Section 275(3) that the appointment of a person to the office of the Grand Qadi or Qadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal explained it. Sharia, Sharia, Sharia. The fourth time Sharia was also mentioned in your constitution is that section 2771. 277 subsection 1. The Sharia Court of Appeal of a state shall, in addition to such other jurisdiction as may be conferred upon it by the law of the state. That is where their status of assembly in Zamfara and the rest of them, that was the foundation in which they built the Sharia that kicked off the Boko Haram terrorism that we are witnessing now. I'm coming. He said, may be conferred upon it by the law of the state, exercise such appellate and supervisory jurisdiction in civil proceedings involving questions of Islamic personal laws, which the court is competent to decide in accordance with the provision of section 2 of this section, subsection 2 of this section. The fifth time Sharia is mentioned in your constitution is section 277, subsection 2. Said, list the specific areas of Islamic personal law, marriage, divorce, inheritance, etc., etc., over which the Sharia Court of Appeal has jurisdiction. The last time, the last part where the 1999 Constitution also said something about Sharia was section 277, subsection 2, subsection E, 2E. Any question of Islamic personal law regarding a waqf, gift, will, or succession, where the endower, donor, testator, or deceased person is a Muslim. So additionally, right? So anyway, I'll leave that. Sharia. So it simply means that the military, Abdusalami Abubakar, that drafted this fake constitution for Nigeria, empowered the jihadists, the jihadism, the violence associated with this their own brand of Islam from the word go. And Nigerians were never allowed to even have a say on that constitution. Imagine a country that just started or probably like went for democracy. But the constitution of that democracy was written by the military, and the people, the government, the government that is going to rule in this their democracy would have no copy of this constitution. They just took the deal. Everybody jumped on it, and that's it. Since then, 25, 26 years after, the criminal politicians in Nigeria, they've not actually grown the balls to write the first people's constitution in Nigeria. That is where those who want Sharia, it will be clearly stated and defined. You know what? Now the people of Zamfara and this and that said they wanted Sharia. Okay, here is what's going to happen. Let them tell us this system of government that they want for their region or for their and then they can insert Sharia into it. Do you get me now? And when it comes to the law of the general law, whatever, maybe that one will override the Sharia. This man said that the Sharia is not about anyone, but like I said, Sharia in your constitution has no power to send anybody to death, sentence anybody to death. But today we have two men who are standing trial, currently appealing the death sentence imposed on them by Sharia court in Kano. Isba. They were supposed to actually Isba law or Sharia law is to supersede that of Nigerian law, whereby Nigerians are told that they could run their businesses anywhere, legitimate businesses. But when you get to Kano, when you get to Zamfara, when you get to even to Kaduna, yes, Kaduna, you will see these green khaki wearing lunatics, okay, pretenders, going after legitimate businesses, destroying people's businesses, because Sharia frowned at alcohol. The hypocrites, most of them drug addicts, by the way, most of them drunkards too. But yet, once they start shouting this, their Isba, Sharia, 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 they've destroyed billions, multi-billion naira worth of people's businesses and livelihood with nobody to report to. They will just tell you that it's Sharia. No, you cannot bring alcohol here. You cannot. Hypocrites. So yeah, we've had people targeted, yes, by your supposed Sharia court. So if there's going to be any form of reform, you shouldn't be pushing or campaigning to impose it on anybody. You get what I mean? No, not us. But unfortunately, in this day and time, there is so much money. Yeah, so much money to push any agenda. But when the guy said that they were ready to die if America tried to stop Sharia law in Nigeria, I'm like, they don't even need America to stop Sharia law in Nigeria. What you need is just to write your new constitution, a new constitution. Whereby Zamfara and the rest of them, they will probably have something to bring to the table before they can say they want to put a religious law. You get what I mean? So they would negotiate that even in Zamfara and all other places where this atrocity, this religious madness is going on in northern Nigeria. They brought nothing but poverty, destruction, displacement, out of school children, corruption. Yes, that's what the Sharia has brought upon northern Nigeria. The rest of Nigeria is now paying for it. So yeah, that deserves to be kind of like negotiated. If they want Sharia, do you want some Burkina Faso, or they can join their brothers in the Sahel. They should find their roots, give them their own space, their own country. And everybody, if Nashokoto say they want Sharia too, by all means, yes, they negotiate it. If their negotiation is that of this political Sharia, so no Sahel long. You get what I mean? Their cousins and their people are there, Shad in Kong. They can turn and join them as another country. But they won't do that. That's the reason why they do not want to have a national conference that is indeed to talk about Nigeria, where everyone's interest will be addressed. If you want to have Oshugbo nation, if you want to have Oshugbo region, if you want to have Obatala region, or whatever you want to have, if you want to have Islamic Caliphate region, you can negotiate all of that. And everybody can just know where they are. There won't be any form of madness from any Fulani terrorist or anywhere to say because Allah told him, and he'll be shouting Allah Akbar, Logbomosho, Konyo Padasile. You get me what I mean? Because Logbomosho won't be under this cover of this one Nigeria then. It will be the people of Logbomosho themselves ready with their own Kalashi coffer, AK-47 and the rest of the right. So, ti we come back shady, we come to pariwo Allah Akbar, koja border. Baba, why am kiloting penny here now? Why am I junior? So that kind of arrangement, you know, go get any madness. They shout Allah Akbar, ni border Ogbomoso. They not go swear for you where you go. They shout Allah Akbar on the hill of Enugu. You want to go cool down on it because there's nobody there to make Allah Akbar illegal. You understand? Within few minutes, someone neutralizing, and that's exactly how it should be. So people go do their own day. But they don't want that. They want me and you to feel like we are the most powerful. Those who are killing us, they are very powerless. So we need to give them something. We need to at least feel sorry for them. And therefore, in a system so divided this way, people are not allowed to actually come out and say, this is what we want. This is how we want it. A group of people will group themselves together, make decisions that will affect millions of lives. And when people die, then the same group of people come together again to provide solution again. And their solutions have always been like leading to more death because they are not facing the real thing. If anybody is angry with Nigeria and the rest of that, the moment you turn your gun on the people, you have to separate the criminals from those who genuinely want something different. Sure, you get me now? So, but negotiating with the terrorists and trying to gaslight us and make us feel like we are the ones who are becoming Islamophobic, we're real. Just know that, you know. So yeah, let's see how far their Sharia will take them. One man that is like the Jehovah Witnesses, because they said the Jehovah Witnesses also don't celebrate birthdays, they don't celebrate all this your festive stuff, and it is simply because they are worldly things. The Shiites too. Yeah, like the Jehovah Witness don't also vote. They don't They don't recite national anthem. They don't. There's so many things that they don't do. Okay, and yeah, the Shiites too. They do not believe in election. They don't vote. They don't recite national anthem or anything or wherever it is. They are just on their own faith and belief. Even that man, El Zazaki, that Nigeria killed 4 of his own sons when Buratai the Butcher. You remember Buratai the Butcher, right? Yeah, that's the former chief of army staff under Bokwari that killed over 1,400 Nigerians, Shiites in Zaria, in Kaduna in 2015. They used their blood to wet the ground for Bokwari's genocidal government that will later, wreck Nigeria. El Zazaki's group, the Shiites, they were the first people to pay the price. And right now, the same El Zazaki is saying, you see all these killings, you see all this, they are politically sponsored. How do you think an ordinary cow herder is able to acquire all of these sophisticated weapons? This crisis is politically sponsored by the politicians. When the politicians are ready to end it, they will end it. They didn't say much. That was Sasaki.
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. This security problem was actually created. And it was created by those in authority. And if they want to stop it today, they will stop it because they are the ones engineering it. How comes Bush people who have been known to be cattle rearers, how come they have guns? Where do they come? These guns come from? How come those people they call bandits, they have armored vehicles, including tankers in the bush, and they call them terrorists or enemies? How come they have this? If it is in Maiduguri, where did the tankers pass? Is this they came from the earth or they came through? Where did they get the tankers? You have to every sane person know that the authorities are behind this insecurity. If they want to stop it today, they can stop it. All right. Now, by inviting those who are perpetrators of this, they will make it more aggressive. They are inviting the U.S., which is very clearly it is behind all these so-called terrorist organizations. It is behind. U.S. created Boko Haram. The U.S. is funding Boko Haram. U.S. creates what they call ISWA. They created ISIS. They create Daesh. They confess it openly. All right? I don't need to give you proof because they have said it themselves. They are behind it. They said that they will use terrorism to conquer Africa. Now you invite them to be a remedy for what they have been the cause. What do you expect? Mass killing of most innocent people. All right? And they will come not for security but to steal our resources. You see them in where there is gold, oil, gas, and other resources. You will see them there. That's where the security problem is. And that's where they will protect Christians. They will protect Christians in Zamfara and Katsina, where there is gold. You see them there protecting Christians. They will protect Christians in extreme northeast, where there are rare earths. They come for that, and they will create havoc. So if the government wants this insecurity to stop today, they will stop it because they are the ones doing it. No fool nobody can, unless you want to be a fool. You have to understand that the Nigerian government is behind all this insecurity, previous and present.
Àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ yìí ó dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọpọlọ rẹ̀ yòrò tàbí ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi síbi aláṣà àwọn ọpọlọ rẹ̀ bí ọpọlọ ikú ó jọ má bẹ́ẹ̀ tọpọlọ rẹ̀ ò tó nǹkan rárá tàbí ètò wà ń bẹ kó má tiẹ̀ wúlò má rárá.
I mean, it's a roller coaster, sort of like a convo, right? So when it first started, then they go into the middle, then it went straight like to America and all of that. Then it came back and it was like, yeah, the government is behind it. So yeah, Cham said she believes him. So it's not really out of place, but El Zazaki is only so, I mean, kind of like at the crossroad with other Sufi Wahhabism, kind of like Islam. El Zazaki is Shiite, I feel like than Shia, okay, and their own funding comes from Iran. Do you still believe him? No, that one is not Saudi. Saudi money is for, that one is for the caliphate. Shiite money is Iranian money. And there are quite few of them that get funding from Iran. Yeah, from the Ayatollah of Iran. Well, that's what they sold to us. Like, those are bad. Do you get me now? Like, yeah, they're like bad. But others are good. And that was why the people that attacked and killed his followers in Zaria, they told us that if they didn't do that, that El Zazaki is capable of building an army that will be bigger and worse than Boko Haram. That's what they told us. And that was 10 years ago. Oh my God, 10 years ago. Wow, 2015. That was when Buratai, the butcher, took up Buratai, opened fire on them, and it was like 3 days killings. 3 days. And at the end of the day, held fire, Kaduna Littlefinger, provided the site where they buried most of them in mass grave. Yeah. Wow, that was 10 years ago. So they said because he had connection to Iran, and therefore he is a threat. So they needed to neutralize him. All because his followers were allegedly to have blocked the road that the chief of staff was passing. And he came down, addressed them, right? And he left, only for him to send the soldiers, battalions of soldiers, to go back to that place. Even when those people, harmless young people, children, ran into churches, ran into different open places, and all that to run to safety, they were doing what they call the sweep out. Okay, after killing those they could kill and shoot inside, right? They went on to start picking people out, executing them. Even this Zazaki was brutalized, that it was unknown. Go and Google Zazaki, and you will see this totally like almost mangled face man, old man, drenched in blood, and he was on a wheelbarrow. His picture was taken by the soldiers to publish it on social media that they've captured the head of a sect that is about to become dangerous. So yeah, in all of that, he believed himself that it is all politically sponsored, it's all politics. And therefore, whatever they want you to see is what you're going to see. And it is Nigeria. Like what the Wiki will say, the more you look, the less you see. The more you look, the less you see. Wiki.
The more you look, the less you see. The more you look, the less you see.
Back to Nigeria, especially their National Assembly. Also today, right? They seemed not just like they woke up to the shock of their police orderlies being withdrawn by Tinubu. Okay. Some of them are also like just realizing that way to fly from Lagos to Abuja could actually cost as much as 450,000 naira. Abba, 1 hour flight, I've been a 50 minutes flight. Here you get, people have been complaining about this for a while. Since the insecurity in Nigeria got to this stage, right? A lot of people have abandoned the road. Well, some people have abandoned the road travel. So they would rather just fly from one place to another. Like, right now, that's what people do, right? But slowly and steadily, slowly, the cost of airfare have skyrocketed in a way that people barely talk about it. So this guy started talking about it today, and it's quite hilarious, by the way. The first person.
Airline, and finding it very difficult to travel from one destination to the other. Take your seat. Mr. President, can you believe it that from Abuja to Lagos ranges from 400 to 650,000, and then from here to Enugu is about 500,000. Even from here to Ilorin is about 450,000. When we noticed all this, the committee, we decided to even investigate further, and we now find out that cut across, people cannot afford to travel. And looking at the festive period that is coming up now, Mr. President, it is important we wave in to help Nigerians because of this festive period that is coming, that people want to move from one place to the other, particularly since our road is becoming a bit difficult to travel on. Mr. President, we decided to interact with the airline owners. They also have one or two things, but we've not called them formally. Maybe after the Senate has decided, we can now invite them to know why the price is so high like this, and then we can now insist that go and bring down your price, because we don't want a situation that by the time from 20th, 21st, 22nd, they will now be saying traveling from here to Enugu will be 1 million naira. That's the prayer. So, to invite them, yeah, okay. Maybe, Mr. President, the prayer is just that we need to invite the stakeholders, particularly the airline owners and our agency, for us to interact, because like one of my colleagues said, 150,000 is what he paid for here to Enugu. But yesterday when he was buying his ticket, he paid 500,000. Yesterday, my own experience, I was with Cyril at the airport yesterday when he got his flight for 560,000 from Lagos to Abuja. At that time, I was just laughing because mine was about 400. So, Mr. President, we need to take a very immediate decision before the festive period so that Nigerians will be able to have easy Xmas and be happy, and it will make.
So, key solution. We must take a step. What step? You are going to subsidize air travel, or what? But it's actually crazy though. Maybe traffic. For people to be paying up to $300, about $300 to fly from Lagos to Abuja. I don't understand the economic behind that too. But what are they going to do? Here is the former governor of Kebbi, who is now has been a lifetime senator, by the way, after retiring as a governor. Kebbi Alero, his name is Alero, right? On the same matter.
Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari. Mr. President, in supporting this motion, I want to say that the airfares as announced by the airlines and as stated by by Senator Buhari is, to say the least, outrageous and unaffordable as far as Nigerian people are concerned. An airfare from here to Lagos costing above 500,000 naira is too exorbitant. Just one way, not even round trip, is too exorbitant. As you rightly said, when the synopsis of the motion was given, that the minimum wage for Nigerians is 70,000 naira. It means a civil servant will have to save 5 months' salary or even 6 months' salary before he could afford one-way ticket to Lagos. And in going to Kebbi myself, I have to spend close to about 700,000 naira. Mr. President, this is unaffordable. And there has not been corresponding increase in aviation fuel. There has not been corresponding increase in the airport charges from either FAN, NCAA, or Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. So we need to summon all the stakeholders and question them on why this hike is announced. And not only that, Mr. President, we need to halt this increase in order to save Nigerians from exploitation. Mr. President, it is normal for airlines at the end of the year to increase fares, but not as it is announced today. Increase of 10 to 15% is understandable, but not increase of over 200%. So if we do that, honestly speaking, Mr. President, we are allowing exploitation of Nigerians. I therefore move that we should invite the NCAA, the FAN, the airline operators of Nigeria, and other stakeholders to discuss this matter exhaustively. But in the interim, they should suspend this price hike. I so move.
He has no job.
It's all talks. I mean, on the one hand, they will tell you that they are running a free market economy. Then another one, they are running a welfareist or pretentious, sort of like a socialist system. Sure, you get, you think they care. So what are they going to do? He made some valid points though, right? When he said, there is no corresponding increase in aviation fuel. Do you understand? So that won't make sense. But for festive period, where price increases, right, it shouldn't be that exorbitant. About now, from here to London, from Glasgow to London, even in this festive period, you will still see a return of, let me see, £150, £160, and that's quite even like there. You know what I mean? Like it's still expensive, but not that of Nigeria. Like to be paying £200, £250, £300 just to fly from Enugu to Lagos, Enugu to Abuja, or Enugu to all these places. So it's unbelievable, you say, yeah? Anyway, the underlying, the real underlying factor to all of this is that the insecurity in Nigeria, okay, has crippled road travel. So those who are traveling by road are those who had no other option. So they will take the risk, they'll still be on the road, okay, and just hope that they get home safe. As for those who have to go and fly another day, it's pretty much in the minority, you say. So the underlying factor, insecurity. If they can improve on security, sure you get. Everybody can put out of these their expensive SUVs that Nigeria continue to buy for them every 2 years. I am talking about the last one they got, even when they are telling you to manage austerity under Tinubu, remember? Cost you 57 billion naira. Yeah, that's how much their vehicles cost just 2 years ago. So they could put all of that on the road if the security is guaranteed. And if Nigerians are not safe on the road, why should the lawmakers be flying anyway? Because they are lawmakers. We know why. At the lower chamber, those ones are having different conversation. No? Their own conversation was on the unremitted, some said 11 trillion, and that said 16 trillion, and that said 21 trillion. But anyway, they said there's some unremitted unmatched revenue, something unremitted, 16 trillion naira by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And you know that if Tinubu and his gang have been doctoring the whole book all this while, you know, pushing false data that they are even like praising themselves. When you call them and say, well, all these things are not like really reflecting on the everyday people. They say, no, they will still see it later. Now, later. Do you get me now? So the lower chamber, I don't know, like as usual, I think they were stopping some of them wanted the probe to be concluded enough that they will invite the central bank where Kadobi Oduduwa Emefiole is the headmaster. Here you get. And I think others were like, no, we shouldn't. Before we know it, Baba, it nearly turned to a fight. I actually wish they fought.
Order, please.
Why? Does anything not call the police?
Honorable colleagues, we are more than that. We cannot resolve issues among ourselves democratically. We have to resolve into shouting and insulting each other. We are more than that. Honorable Mark, Honorable Kabiru, this is very unparliamentary.
Distinguished colleagues, I am Dr. Gali Mustafa Tijani. I represent Alabasuga Ajing Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I am comrade, as mentioned by the Speaker, and I'm from Kano State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, looking at this subject matter is all important, and we have a lot of things to handle in this Parliament currently. I think, Mr. Speaker, for us to call the CBN governor to invite him to listen to such matter, an ad hoc committee should be set up purposely to focus on this subject. Then they should report to the House where necessary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
People's Speaker, the Utumbawan, Right Honorable Mark Eset is my name, speaking for the good people of Uyo who ran inside Taya and Ibesiposita and Federal Constituency. The Speaker, I'm from Akwa Ibom State. I rise to second this well thought out amendment as proposed by my colleague. I so second.
Before I go on, let me postulate from the Franz Fanonian dictum, which stipulates that the dialectics of reconciling two conflicting ideas is the algebra of revolution. The overbearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporompium and amounting to sadomasochisms.
Fellow Nigerians, this is just the beginning.
This is just the start. So that it didn't really go well. But did you hear the second to the last speaker who said the House is dealing with a lot right now, and this issue of inviting the central bank governor to come and answer a question about 16 trillion naira, about 16 trillion naira unremitted. Now waiting cost wahala bidato. And they said, did that guy from Kano with that red cap? You heard him. He said, we cannot. Instead of that, let's just set up a committee let's set a committee to look into it and report back to us. Trivialized it. 16 trillion. If Tinubu and his gang told you that they met their revenue target since August. Remember when he said that? August. He said he's met his revenue target. That ordinarily would have pushed what they call the budget performance. Budget performance meaning all the critical part of the budget gets funding enough that you will see a lot of things going on, people getting paid, contractors being paid, and on like that, in their 2025 budget. But the funniest thing is that Nigeria is currently operating, God damn it. According to them, they are still doctoring the book. Nigeria is currently operating about 3 different budgets. Nigeria is operating the 2023 supplementary budget from September to, from July. Was it July or August? Anyway, doesn't matter. It was around that time, So he got a supplementary budget to spend on the 2023 because he didn't write the 2023 budget. Meanwhile, 2023 budget was still active, but let's take that out. So the supplementary budget was then carried to 2024. Meanwhile, in December 2023, he submitted 2024 budget. It got passed, ceremony and all that. So in 2024, they were operating 2 budgets. 2023 supplementary budget. They didn't close it. It's not like, okay, now we are in 2024, close it. No. What that simply means was that if they plan to buy 5 bottles of water, right? In 2020, in the 2023 supplementary budget. So they just bought 2. That's how they put it. They bought 2 because they didn't have enough money. So they will now move it to 2024. Since 2024 budget is going to buy bottles of water again. So what they should normally do would be like, okay, we already bought 2 water in that last budget that is still active. So what we're going to do is that we just buy the remaining 3 bottles of water from the 2023 supplementary budget and use that money for water in 2024 budget for something else. No. So they carry 2023 to 2024. So in that 2024, the same similar budget, copy and paste, right? When they got to June 2024, they voted again and said, since the supplementary budget is yet to be like a year or something, right? They extended it to the end of 2024. Meanwhile, 2024 budget that was supposed to have started they didn't use that until around this time, December 2024. That's when they realized that, okay, you know what? Let us extend it again. So they ended the 2023 supplementary budget at the end of 2024. So now the 2024 budget has been extended to the end of 2025. I don't know if you remember, because they barely touched that. So this 2025 budget that was supposedly passed earlier as well, and this is the end of 2025, Tinubu is telling them that they should now, all of them should move their own 2024 budget plus 2025 budget, move them to 2026 budget. He was supposed to go and present your 2026 budget right now, but there is no real talk around that. Because what they're going to do in 2026 budget is that they're going to do copy and paste again. Same thing they wanted in 2025. They will change and skew the old figure here and there. They will paste them again for 2026. So by 2026, Nigeria will be operating under 3 different budgets. You can't track them. You can't trace them. Then that takes us back to the loans they have been taking. Loans after loans and after loans and after loans. And at the same time, they are telling you that they are making more money now. States are getting more money, which is also false. I'll give you an example about states getting more money. I'll use, for example, let's use states. Ogun State. Let's say Ogun State in 2022. The total allocation to Ogun State in 2022 was, in a month, let's put it at 7 billion naira. Now, 7 billion naira in 2022 is not the same age mate with 20 billion naira in 2025. Sure, you understand? 25 billion, 20 billion may sound so big, but 7 billion in 2022 no be the same mate with 20 billion of 2025. So Tinubu came in 2022 under Bokuwari. Your exchange rate was 420 naira to $1. Now, if you start dividing 7 billion by that 420 naira, you are likely going to get over $2 billion. Something like that. Maybe not that much, Abi. 410 times 1 billion. That's 410 billion. No, that's a lot. No, not that one. So we're gonna say, let's say 400 million, 400 million, okay, yeah, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. You shall get the drift, but this one will be easier for me. In 2025, Ogun State got 21 billion naira. That's a lot of money, but the exchange rate is now 1,600 naira to $1. When you start dividing the 21 billion, then you realize that you've been cheated. Your case would be like that Okponu that they paid in coins, and then 1 naira notes, bank notes, and then everywhere is filled with so much money, but with less value. Tinubu deceived a lot of you, and it didn't just do it. There were those who helped spread that. But in reality, where is that so much money and the revenue targets they've met? Enough that they couldn't even reach 15% of 2025 budget. 15%. So right now they are saying that there's still about 75% to be done. So therefore they should move it to 2026. And they will need more loans to do that. So if 16 trillion naira is not remitted to the federation account by the central bank of the country, that should be concerning. That shouldn't be something anybody or any lawmaker in Nigeria should be trivializing. But of course, they've looted more. Over 210 trillion naira, according to another committee. This one is the Senate committee investigating the unremitted oil revenue by the NNPC since 2015. 10 years of missed remittances. They calculated it and they said it is over $210 billion. Oh no, not trillion naira. Over $210 billion. Baba. $100 billion will be equivalent of 160 trillion naira. So that's 320 trillion naira, plus or minus, plus inflation. There are those who have looted a total of 300 trillion naira in the last 10 years. There is a probe about that in the National Assembly. It won't get anywhere, like it's not going to get anywhere. So yeah, this is just for academic purposes, you say, right? And these two, Fulbara and Werewike, day 2 of Fulbara becoming APC, Egbekegbe. So he met with his supporters at a project commissioning today. And I told them that he would personally be taking charge of Tinubu's campaign. You're mad. Your guy said he's going to take charge. Sure you get. And this happened. Do you still have the time?
Let me thank every one of you and assure you that because of this continuous support, you have every reason to be coming here from time to time. My supporters, I know that your ears are very eager to hear one thing. A lot of you are wondering I know that the story is everywhere. I just want to say first, the reason why we took this decision is not a personal decision or to fulfill my personal ambition, but to see that our state succeeds. We cannot thrive in an atmosphere of rancor. Development cannot come to our states when there is continuous disunity. And you are also aware that we are also standing because of the support of Mr. President. Let me take this song. I re-edited this song for this day. The song goes like this. If they follow Fubara, no they go corner. Fubara, they tell you something.
I know they shake me, Jesus. Your body, they shake me, they shake the camera.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let it be very clear to everyone that the Renew Hope agenda is here with a vigor that you can imagine. We are out, we are ready to subscribe to every door in every local government area of Rivers State. So let me thank every one of you for your support and assure you that we will continue. We will continue to deliver the dividends of democracy. I also want to use this
nuisance Lele.
Udbara. You know? Anyway, he also answered, or should we say he addressed the notion that Werewike's men were about to put the rug under him again when he decided to play a fast one on Werewike. So there were rumors planned that once the House of Assembly reconvened in January, the battle will begin to further neutralize him and possibly bury his any form of ambition of getting a second term now that PDP is almost into oblivion. Then he put this, he nominated himself as a Renewed Hope ambassador, a door-to-door campaigner, right? So when he kind of like addressed that, he said, well, I would love to meet with them. The reason why he hasn't met them is because his boss, Werewike, is yet to fix a date or time for them to meet since he came back from state of emergency. Here is the dollar at it again.
I also want to use this medium because there is this insinuation that is going around. Let me say it here. You are aware that I went to see Mr. President a few days ago, and when I came back, we took a bold decision yesterday. I will also want to add this. I personally do not have any disagreement or any anger anywhere with my members of the National Assembly, even that of the state here. Let me be very particular. The state members of the House of Assembly, I do not have any issue with them. I have made every effort. I believe that the leadership of the State Council that is led by Chief Federal Barbara can attest to this. I've made every effort to meet with them. But the arrangement wasn't for me to call them directly. it was for my leader, the minister, to arrange the meeting, which up to this hour, that meeting has not been fixed. So when people go about saying, I don't want to meet them, so thing, I don't want to attend to them, I don't want to meet their demand, that is pure lie. I don't have any reason to do that. I personally said whatever is their need, whatever is things that they need, I'm ready to meet it so that we can have peace in the state. So please, I'm saying it here, this is a live television. Whoever is going to tell you that I don't want to meet the member of us of the State Assembly is not true. I have met with our leaders and they said they were going to arrange a meeting. I do not want to go behind them so that it will look as if, because if I go behind them, it will look as if I'm trying to divide the house. I'm a gentleman and a very principled person. And that is the reason why I am saying this here. I have suffered so much because of single story. A lot of times things have happened, nobody have heard my own side. So I just want to deviate a bit to say it here. Please, Mr. Speaker, leadership of the House and other members, I have made every effort to meet with you. I'm just waiting for that meeting to be fixed. The understanding that we have is that they are going to arrange a meeting. So whoever is saying that I refuse to meet you, or there is an arrangement that was presented to me and I said I'm not going to do it, it is not true. Please, we need to come together for the interests of this state. It's not about me, it's about this state. Let me finally thank all the good people of
Yes, sir. In the Chief of Staff's office. Well done. Very nice. I'm glad to see this. Yes, sir. In the Chief of Staff's office. Well done. Very nice. I'm glad to see this.
People's leader Bidato. And he's not just relying on Tinubu's goodwill and benevolence, right? He's also relying on the goodwill a relationship is managed to build with the judiciary. Is their like biggest gifter, put it that way. So Werewike has been building houses for judges and the rest of that, and he was with them today, and they supposed the president of the Court of Appeal of Nigeria had this to say about Werewike, and that is just the cap for it, for everything. Watch this to the end if you still have the time.
Endless electoral processes wear the courts down. When I talk of 36 panels, it means 3 times 36. That's how much electoral matters consume our time and energy. Beyond adjudication, we partnered with Kimpat Development Initiative to strengthen public confidence and develop a communication strategy for election cases. Our aim is to ensure transparency, protect judicial integrity, and counter misinformation. We appeal to politicians and political actors. Democracy cannot flourish if every electoral contest is dragged to the courtroom. The spirit of sportsmanship must prevail We urge politicians to respect the will of the electorate, accept outcomes in good faith, and place the peace and progress of our great nation above personal ambition. People think that judges like election matters. Why? Why should we? We don't. We would rather take our commercial matters so that we can create employment for our teeming youths that are graduating out every day. Every year we churn out huge number of lawyers, graduates who need jobs. And when commercial matters are held down in court because time has to be expended on electoral matters, we are not helping our system. We keep hearing of corruption, allegations against judges. Please provide the evidence. That's all we need, evidence. Since no one has come up with any evidence to show that they are corrupt or that we are corrupt, I believe that we are doing our best. I know that we are doing our best, and we are enduring a lot of discomfort, but all in good stride out of love for our beloved country, Nigeria. 2 weeks ago, a judge of the Delta State Judiciary who had retired was murdered in her room, in her house. She was bounded up. Well, her corpse was found in the morning. What happened, we do not know. But one thing we know is that she was living in an area that was not all that secure. So even after we've left office, we are still not safe because of the decisions that we have taken. So we appreciate the efforts of the Honorable Minister of the FCT, who is bringing the good, his good works from Rivers to the FCT. Because I had the privilege of going to Rivers State to represent the Honorable Chief Justice, then to commission houses that His Excellency built for his judges, and they were honor occupier houses. There is nothing like having a roof over your head at any time. Standing out, you are totally naked and helpless. But if you are inside the room, anybody who is trying to come in from outside will have to put up a fight. But when you are standing outside, you are helpless. So we appreciate the commitment of the present administration in providing houses, accommodation for judges of all levels, not just the heads of courts. It should extend to all judges. Our service, our sacrifice to the nation is invaluable. We don't have alternative places to go. We do not pass files to other people. We sit down, we write our judgment, we read the files, and sometimes they're very heavy. So we don't even have time to do other businesses to enable us provide for ourselves. So people should please not begrudge us if we are being supported by the government that we are serving. And their support does not change us. We look at the facts, we apply the law. If we fail to do that, there are 3 levels of appeal. The judges can be wrong, but we do not choose to be wrong. We may misinterpret the facts. If you think we do it deliberately, bring up the facts. Go on appeal. Judges should not be weighed down with answering petitions. Appeal when you can appeal. A judicial decision is supposed to be appealed against, not to be...
To recruit from the youths who are unemployed, 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, àgbàdo, corn in the morning, yam in the afternoon. It's growing here. You create demand and consumption. For over 5 million army of boot camps, we create our food. Abi, that's money for the farmers. That's consumption for the soldiers and skill development. Don't call them illiterate. Don't talk about illiteracy. Anybody who can own gun, who can handle gun, who can cock gun and clean the chamber and cock and shoot is technically competent to repair a tractor.
It is smoke Igbo. It is taking them.
So the judge, the president of the Court of Appeal, was grateful to Wike for building them homes because they feel like their decisions as judges in Nigeria that has become so insecure put their lives in danger. They are not actually thinking, I don't think the judiciary has seen their role in making Nigeria a lawless place. She was talking about, misrepresentation of fact, misapplication of fact, there. But the accumulation of all this injustice have created this vast land that they are about to turn to the wasteland, right? Where criminals are holding sensitive political positions and making sensitive political decisions that are actually affecting lives of millions. So yeah, the judiciary contributed, in fact, the judiciary legalized this. So if they don't feel safe today, judiciary, it was never bothered that for 8 years, Boko Haram was releasing terrorists under an arrangement called Operation Safe Corridor. I mean, an arrangement that is not backed by any law, by any court judgment or anything at all. And they released hardened terrorists back into the society under that arrangement. That only them knows the whole process. There is no external sort of like representation to know what they're actually doing. No. Ask them to present the data or the files of all the repentant terrorists that passed through their programs and tell us where they are today. They can't provide them. But the judiciary, of course, judiciary is just there. And the one they are working for. They are working for the drug baron, by the way. So yeah, that is Nigeria. A lot of people want to run away. Shegun Martins went on to hit himself in aircraft tire in a lorry with the belief that this local flight was going to USA. He wants to stow on a local flight to USA, but he was caught.
Airport. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ó dàpọ̀ mú olè o wọ́n mú olè nínú támákì nínú airport.
if they didn't see him, the man was hoping to land in America, Atlanta, the Washington, but only to be dragged out of his own hidden place when the when the plane was about to taxi and then lift off, you know. So they dragged him, and the commentary behind that was like, oh, it's like they've caught a thief. His name is Maiyegun Martins. He plotted his escape, but I think it's wrong timing. There is no plane going to America from Ilorin. I need you to understand that Nigeria may have messed up with a lot of people's heads, okay? If you are plotting your escape, don't go and hide inside the tire of a plane. No, it is not advisable, Baba. I mean, so much. I mean, it's more than that. Also, if you want to escape, don't go enter one plane for a lorry and think that plane is going to America. Baba, Akure law, Akure or Iperu Gateway Cargo Plane Airport, Abikago Airport. You understand? And at most, we are cargo plane to Alikiti. Don't give yourself that kind of impression, because the way things are going on in that Nigeria today, a lot of crazy things are happening. Honestly, you know. Usually, when you hear thief, oli, thief, I mean, then you see a policeman. So your first instinct is going to be like, olokpa, oli, please, police, thief. Who you go come call if the police not the thief? Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I have never actually seen a policeman caught as a thief. But surely Nigeria, these days, if you have been paying attention, lodi la don't happen there. I don't understand how to say that in English. Lodi. Can you understand? So logically, many things are not really like, you get? If you can't say the policeman in police uniform, now he be thief, what do you think they should do? That's where you get to understand that Nigerians are not normal people per se. A lot of people who have their own different frustrations that they are walking about with. You just see them say, Akiloshe, na policeman. You know, even though the man still, but come on, no policeman as solely. Is now part of my bingo, or it's not on my bingo card for 2025. Yeah? Olokwa. Uniform there's something about Nigeria as well. I don't know if it's just me. Like if you see me right now, if Jungle Justice grabbed me within 5 minutes, my identity will change. I'm serious. Your identity will change within 5 minutes. I don't know how they do that. Suddenly you could just become like a Chinese or something, like you have this, eyes bags. You know what I mean? Like everything, your mouth, everything will come out. You go come back, say, you know, go look like it's you again. 5 minutes. Jungle Justice. So he was accused of stealing somebody's phone, I think. Allegedly, by the way. But, you know, Nigeria is a place sometimes that they have to like beat you up before they ask questions. Later, you know. And you know something is that you are going to look like that for like a week or two. This is not something that will happen like your identity changes. Like, come on, if they beat you in Nigeria on Nigerian streets, you get me? You will not be able to use your facial ID. Yeah? If you decide to want to unlock your phone will never recognize you again. It will just be like, no, I don't know this face. There'll be a lot of people that as well that won't even identify you. Say, is this not Maiyegun? Maiyegun. Say, what happened? You look so different. So, if not for your say, that is what they do, but they will never do that to these politicians who brags and takes from them, like, you know what I mean? They won't, unfortunately. Right, I have dragged a lot of you down this almost a late hour, so it will be ideal to show you this as well. One of the terrible things about bad leadership, where government is just as transactional. It's never about the people, right? Is the wastage that comes with bad leadership and bad governance or join. Okay, Imo State is adjudged to be the state with the largest, the biggest deposit of gas. Yeah, LNG, liquid natural gas. They don't even need to do any chemical or anything. They just needed to dig down, put the pipes in, and boom, gas is everywhere. In the, I'm going to cut it short. I'm going to like not sound exaggerating, right? Is the state with the biggest, the largest deposit. It is in billions, hundreds of billions of cubic gas. The way I'm saying it, it's something big and huge, right? But it's wasting away. The gas in Imo State could power the entire eastern Nigeria, like for the next 500 years. No joke. But because Nigeria is Nigeria, all these natural gases or natural resources are mostly distributed among themselves, right? Apart from the fact that the Imo State, where this gas is so much, like huge, they're not tapping into it. And for where they are tapping into it, where they are kind of like exploiting it, the environment is not protected by these guys. Here is Ohaji, a community in Imo State. For those of you who are from that part of eastern part of Nigeria, Ohaji, this gas flaring has been on for the past 5 days. Do you know somebody you can call? The guy had to show you so that you won't be thinking that it is water. Maybe it's just water that is gushing out. So if it's water, you would have seen a whole kind of like an ocean, yeah, in front. When the camera switched around to go and show you, you would have seen flood all over the place, Abi. No, there is no flood. That was gas flaring. So that kind of wastage is everywhere. Do you get what I mean now? The gas flaring in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria alone, from what I have heard, can also power, no, hang on. It can actually, it can power all of the entire buildings, houses, structures in the entire Nigeria. So imagine if Nigeria sort of like have a winter where the freezing cold and all that, maybe that would have forced Nigeria or your leaders to have utilized these resources. By now, every home should, you don't need to be going to buy, what do you call it, to buy your cooking gas. That's the gas that could actually cook all your food, power other part of your house, warm your house and all that. Yeah. All they have to do is just to build the infrastructure around it, lay the pipes everywhere, and then you pay for it. Just like what we have here. They don't even have that gas here like that. So they have to import, they have to buy them and bring them to the UK. But look at how long they have been using the gas, gas-powered cookers, gas-powered, what do you call it, housewarming, what have you, yeah? And yet they don't even have that kind of gas in this country. No, they have to buy it. But that's wasting away in Nigeria. And everybody is buying cylinders to go and get small cooking gas. The cost of bad leadership is endless. Trust me. So I want to kind of like call it a night at this point. We've had a good one. So thank you so much for your time. All right. Please remember, like the broadcast, okay? Share it as well. Subscribe to my channel. The more you like and share, the kind of like better for the wider audience, wider audience. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your time or your day, and good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun dayari Politico. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun dayari Maiyegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá ayé ẹ̀sùn rájì aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o ayé ẹ̀sùn rájì òkúra olóṣèlú ayé ẹ̀sùn rájì ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì ayé ẹ̀sùn rájì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o ayé.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí.